Be prepared by knowing the top things that are surprising North Carolina homebuyers in 2024. I'm Alison Wojnarowski with the W Real Estate Group in Raleigh, North Carolina. Let's get right into it. First up, if you want a large lot, it may be hard to find one of those in North Carolina's larger cities. Many people move here thinking it's the South. We will have large plots of land that are still close to everything. But that's not true in our larger cities like Raleigh and Charlotte, which are mostly built out now. You'll have to move further out in the suburbs to get the larger plots of land, and even then, if you want more than 2 acres, don't expect to be in a neighborhood. Next up, this may seem to contradict to the last one, but the cities are spread out. Charlotte is the most dense city downtown, but outside of that, it's very spread out just like Raleigh. You'll definitely need a car, and there are few true master plan communities that have literally everything you need. For Raleigh, another thing that is surprising is how spread out Raleigh's entertainment is, as downtown is not nearly as much of a focal point as other big cities. So living near downtown is not quite as important unless you work there. Moving on, when you're house hunting, homebuyers from out of state are many times surprised by the number of trees North Carolina has maintained in their major cities, as well as the fact that there are many roads that were not built in a grid. The windy nature of the roads mixed with limited line of sight can make navigation without GPS a challenge, so don't turn off that GPS too early. Another challenge is finding new construction communities in the big North Carolina cities. Since Raleigh and Charlotte are just about fully built out, there are very few spaces left for new construction communities. For those looking for new construction communities, plan to look in the suburbs where more land is available. If you're just looking for a new construction home, there are older neighborhoods in these cities where builders are targeting older homes to tear down and build new, but it won't be an entire new construction community. When looking for homes, families are typically interested in the schools, but North Carolina has many different options for schools beyond just the public schools in both private and charter options, as well as many options within the public school system itself. Also, schools have specific neighborhoods assigned to them as you would imagine, but many times they are spread throughout the city and don't always make sense geographically. And in a given neighborhood, you'll find that many different children go to different schools, as some go to public, private, charter, etc., given all the options. Kids still all play together in the neighborhood, but they don't always go to the same school together. Next up, some home buyers are surprised by homeowners associations, most specifically at the power that they have, as well as the money that you have to pay them. Most neighborhoods in North Carolina's major cities will have them, and their goal is to basically ensure neighborhood aesthetics and standards are maintained, which require a review process anytime you make a change to your exterior. Some neighborhoods are more restrictive than others, but it will help you in the event your neighbor wants to put a shed right on your property line. Another very surprising concept to out-of-state buyers is that of due diligence money. This is non-refundable money that you pay to the seller at the time you enter into a contract to take their home off the market for you to have inspections, get the appraisal done, etc. During that time, you can walk away for any reason and void the rest of the contract, but the seller gets to keep the due diligence money that you put down. This is different than other states, and that is more favorable to the seller than the buyer. Termites are another critter that catches many from up north by surprise. Termites eat wood and can cause structural damage to a home if infestation is significant enough, and they are mostly found in more wooded lots, especially ones with rotting wood and pine trees. Many home inspectors will catch signs of termites, but you may even want to get a pest control company out to look for termites as well during the due diligence period. If you choose to live outside the larger cities and on the outskirts of suburbs or small towns, many lots do not have access to city water and sewer, and thus they have well water and septic tanks. For those who have never had either, it's really seamless on an everyday basis. The positive is you don't have water or sewer bills, but you could essentially say savings are made up for the increased power bill to run the pump for the water and the annual maintenance needed for the septic tank. Next up, many people comment how few basements and pools that we have. Basements in general are really only constructed on lots when the grade falls, and you have more of a half basement where doors open to the backyard. The full basements are pretty rare, and this is generally due to them not being economical. North Carolina does have quite a bit of rock that makes digging more challenging as well. For pools, most homeowners have begun installing pools since the pandemic, but North Carolina's larger cities have many neighborhood pools and private pool clubs to join for your summer that make owning your own pool not as necessary. I've talked about this a few times before, but people are surprised by what they believe to be dead grass in the wintertime in North Carolina. Warm season grass does grow in North Carolina, like Bermuda and zoysia, and have become the norm for new construction communities as they are very drought tolerant and resistant to wear and tear. But during the winter, they go dormant and turn brown. So many people think North Carolinians just don't take care of their grass. And the last thing that surprises homebuyers in North Carolina is the low cost of living. North Carolina in general is in the top third of the country in many different cost categories overall. And while home prices have risen lately, they still pale in comparison to many larger cities around the country. So many people are still surprised by what they can get for their money here, even in Raleigh and Charlotte, but more so in the suburbs of those cities. Property taxes are very cheap as well. And when homebuyers are house hunting, I hear comments about how cheap gas is, restaurants, drinks, and more. So those are the top things I hear that surprise homebuyers related to buying a home in North Carolina. If you need any help finding a home in the greater Raleigh area, please don't hesitate to reach out, as our team would love to help you. I'm Alison Wojnarowski, and thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next video.